Welcome to a series of presentations on Quality Engineering Education System. In this series of presentations, we will be introducing various modules like the leadership skills, the essential qualities, the 4 essential qualities of a good leader, quality engineering education system consisting of the training process, the 5 M's technique, the 4 stages of the learning process, the 5 techniques involved in the learning process, smart learning techniques, and the differences between rote learning process and problem-based learning, and of course a little bit of project-based learning also will be there. Then comes a very critical analysis of the stakeholders involved in an education system. Then we have a presentation on intellectual property rights, copyrights and patents, expert quality panel, and research activities. And then institute industry interaction, and finally continuous quality performance assessment. Now let me go through these modules briefly, and we will try to summarize it later. In the 4 essential qualities of leadership, we will be covering the FAST technique. FAST. FAST is an acronym for faithful, available, submissive, and teachable. These are the 4 essential qualities of a good leader. Leadership does not come up in one day. A good leader is being developed over a period of time. A student is not above his teacher, but anyone who is fully trained will be like his teacher. So teaching and training are 2 processes which are involved in developing a good leader who will be like an example, a model to others. So let us see the training process. In the training process, there is a 5 M's technique will be followed. What are these 5 M's? M for model, M for mentoring, M for monitoring, M for motivating, and the last M for multiplying. These will be dealt in a separate module presentation on the 5 M's technique of the training process. In the learning process, we have 2 aspects of the learning, 2 major aspects of the learning process. The first major aspect is the process itself, the 4 stages of the learning process. We will be discussing that in that presentation on the 4 stages of the learning process. What are those 4 stages? The first stage being unconscious incompetence. That is the stage of I don't know what I don't know. The second stage is conscious incompetence, which means I know what I don't know. And the third stage is conscious competence, which means I know and I grow and I begin to show to others what I have or the competency and skills I have acquired. And the final stage of the learning process is unconscious competence, which is I simply go because of what I know, with just on my own or automatic process, as it is usually called. These things will be covered in a separate video session, a video presentation on the learning process. The second major aspect of the learning process is the 5 techniques of the learning process. The 5 techniques: observation, visualization, conception, perception, and simulation. Of course, what these are in detail we will see later in those presentations. And finally, we have the SMART learning process. The SMART learning process is, of course, the SMART goal setting technique, as many of you would be knowing. S for specific, M for measurable, A for achievable, R for realistic or relevant, and T for time bound. Learning process is also SMART using these techniques, as we shall see later. Of course, there are some other modules also to be covered. However, I will not cover it now. Rote learning versus problem-based learning and project-based learning, and analysis of the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? And all those things. Stakeholders in an education system are those who are directly involved in, or directly or indirectly involved. It may be directly involved means those parents like students, teachers, parents, and the management of the institution, and of course the industry also. These are some of the major stakeholders of an education system. Anyway, these video sessions will be covered in detail, and I close this presentation and I request you to visit my blog, which is entitled, which has this following link. I'll just repeat it to you: expertquality.blogspot.in. I repeat, www.expertquality.blogspot.in. This is my blog's web address. Please visit and post your comments.